All right, it's 1 o'clock. We'll get this budget hearing started. Are you okay on an island? Okay, he's gonna come join you. Councilor Green, I'm joined by Councilor Hogan, Councilor Gethers, Councilor Driscoll, Councilor Schultz. This is the budget hearing for the Crouse Marshall Special Assessment District, so we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
You can introduce yourselves.
Yes, I'm Dave Mankiewicz. I am both on the board and act as the staff to the Crouse Marshall Business Improvement District.
I'm John Vavalo. I'm the vice president of the district. I've been for just over 10 years. I own J. Michael Shoes up on the hill.
So we submitted our budget, which I believe you have in front of you, and as you can see, it is a significant increase over last year. Significant in our terms, it's $20,000. But this was approved by the board, and the mayor has included in his budget. So we're asking you to keep it in the budget in the common council. There's a few factors that are behind this. Number one, for 20 years now, I've been acting as staff to the organization, and it's time for me to step aside and get some younger and smarter people in my place. So what we've been
Younger,
doing,
I'm not sure we'll get smarter, Dave.
oh no,
Sounds like ageism to me.
maybe it is, but just the same, no, it's time for me to do that. And this generally, the administration management of the district was something basically I was doing just as part of my job, but I can't keep doing it. There's new realignment going on within Center State, so I probably will not be with this anymore. But I asked Marika Trier, who I think you all know extremely well, as the executive director of the Downtown Committee, if the Downtown Committee could take over and manage the district as opposed to us doing it. And if you're familiar with the district, we have long had agreements with the Downtown Committee. They're providing the environmental maintenance staff, they're providing the security staff. So the logical entity to come in and manage the district is the Downtown Committee. And I can't get that for nothing, unfortunately. They, as you know, because you have to deal with Downtown Special Assessment District, every dollar that they earn downtown must stay downtown within that legal area that ends at Interstate 81. So anything they would do outside that district, they have to be compensated for. And that's why there's a larger management fee in here than there has been in the past. But I'm also confident that they will get better services with the increased management compared to what I'm able to do as, kind of a sideline. There's a couple of other pieces in here, though, that I think are very important to us. Number one is the Crouse Marshall BID board has been asking us to find a way to upgrade the security that we have on Crouse Marshall. And what we have today is basically one officer who works a set schedule, and he's up there during daytime hours, and that's it. And if he takes a day off, there's nobody to replace him. So we wanted to reach a new agreement with the Downtown Committee that they would do a couple of things. One, rotate the officers so more of their officers get familiar with working in the Crouse Marshall District. And secondly, to be able to respond in the event that something happens up there when there is not a regularly scheduled officer there. So that we still have a call number, they'd still get the security number. A person would be dispatched from downtown to come up and handle whatever the problem is and then return. So we think that kind of a call for service type operation will help certainly in the off hours and might over time lead to some efficiencies if you find that there's a lot of hours when things are quiet and you can just do it that way. There may be other hours, like we know, right from probably 11 in the morning till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you should be there because there's always students around and things that may be happening. So that's part of it. So there is a new security service in here that is budgeted to cover the existing security, the increased administration that's going to take, and maybe I believe there's a few more hours in there just to cover to see how this works in the first year. and whether or not we can drive efficiencies with that later. But we want to be able, I want to give the board the opportunity to either stay with the traditional system or go and experiment, I guess is probably the term, with the call for service piece and see how well that works. And then I think they could adjust it as they see fit. As far as environmental maintenance is concerned, the state of New York has been raising the minimum wage. It's raised it significantly, the upstate minimum wage, over the last year. Our employee that goes up there every day and cleans is subject to that minimum wage, so they got a significant increase this year. Are scheduled for a significant increase through December 31 of this year, which will be halfway into this new year. We do not know yet what the upstate minimum wage is going to be starting January 1, so we have to guesstimate it. We put in an additional 70 cents an hour because we think that's probably in the realm of where it's going to go. So the increase that you see in full-time maintenance reflects the higher wages and the higher benefits that'll go along with it, because there's so many benefits that are dictated by the percentage of the wages that they're earning. The other piece we wanted to do was bring back a part-time maintenance employee. We usually would hire somebody during the summer where they would do some of the more intense cleaning work that needs to be done, particularly when the students are away, and that can be anything from graffiti removal to getting gum off of sidewalks, which I know sounds funny, but is actually a major problem, and it's hard to get rid of. And just doing some additional weeding and those types of work. We'd like to have a second person there and bring that person back, and that's generally a job, you know, for probably a high school student that would be working under the supervision of our guy up there that would be doing that work. As far as our work in security, I think we talked about that. We do also want to do a better job with repairs and replacements. We have a contract with the city of Syracuse. It's the 50-50 agreement where the cost of repairs, major repairs or replacements for capital items, are shared between the city and the Crouse Marshall Business Improvement District up to a total of $25,000 a year, or each partner can put in $12,500. And this budget area has been one that has taken a hit. Whenever inflation was catching up to us, this tended to be what we'd reduce. We need to stop that because everything up there now, those improvements, most of them are 20 years old. And so there are a lot more items, and this can be everything from trash cans to kiosks to bricks that are in the sidewalk that we hire a mason to put those back down, make sure they stay in place. So all that type of work we do, and we split that 50-50 with the city. I think that's been a great agreement over the years for the special assessment districts. I think it's a good deal for both of us. But we know we're going to have to spend more, so we've moved the amount that we spent projected this year from $4,000 up to $10,000 next year, because I just simply think we're going to have to be more aggressive about doing that to keep the condition of all those improvements in good shape. And then a lot of it is just some of the operational requirements we have. Everybody's facing increase in gas costs, and there's more overtime that we have to cover the cost of the EM staff. Security insurance goes up every year. There's basically one provider, and you have to pay what they want if you want to run a security operation. And we have audit expenses that go up a little bit every year. So there's just some of these other things that keep going up on us. But we are therefore asking for a increase in the special assessment to $113,750. And you can, the budget outlines where the increases are that I talked about in those different areas. Is there any questions?
You guys have questions?
No, I would just say, I'm very familiar with the Crouse Marshall Board. I've served for many years, and they do great work with the money we give them, and I really fully support this effort.
I have a quick question. So the SU agreement, there's 2 community service officers in that they contribute to funding. How much overlap do they have with Crouse Marshall, if any?
We will have SU security, DPS will drop through because their students are there. I can't say I've seen any increase in it because I think the focus of that agreement is in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, do you know that, Greg? I don't know if you caught the beginning of that one. It was basically asking, in the agreements that we had with SU, the service agreements, there's funding for extra officers. Do any of those officers patrol the Crouse Marshall area, or are they mostly focused on the city areas? Do we know the area of focus of the officers that SU provides in that service agreement?
There is weekend coverage by SPD in the area of the Crouse Marshall Business District. It's late night coverage, and I don't think it in any way is redundant to the downtown committee presence. It's late night weekends.
Okay.
But there's 2 community service officers from SPD that are employed specifically for the Syracuse University area.
Right, but those were placed at specific sites, not at Crouse Marshall Business, not in the Crouse Marshall Business District.
Okay. What are the boundaries? Sorry, I'm new, so I don't really know of the Crouse Marshall.
Well, it's the major pieces. You think of the 100 block of Marshall Street's kind of right at the core of the districts where the businesses are, and the School of Education is on the other side of the street. Now the NVRC, think about where that is. National Veterans Resource Center. Sorry, I drop into the I drop into those acronyms all the time. Yep. So you really have to think about it's roughly from Waverly Avenue to Adams Street,
Okay.
Running north and south. And then from Crouse Avenue, from everything on the 700 block of Crouse that fronts on Crouse Avenue, over to everything on both sides of University Avenue, including the Sheraton. So one of the things that, every property owner within that district pays the special assessment. It's not like a property tax. So Syracuse University is not exempt. Crouse Hospital is not exempt. They pay a good portion of the special assessment. In fact, because the university acquired the Marshall, which you remember was the big student housing project in there, between SU and Crouse, they will probably end up paying 2/3 of the increase that we're talking about here. And their members are on the board. SU has 4 members, Crouse has 2 members, so they're well aware of the increase. And Mike, when we talked the other day, you asked me, we did send out, as we mentioned, letters to all the property owners in the district informing them of the increase that went out about 3 weeks ago, or at least our proposal to increase. And we did not get a response back, so, but that's probably part of it. They realized the smaller property owners will not really pay a whole lot of an increase here. It's the big guys who end up paying it.
So this doesn't take any kind of action by the council to increase the special assessment, or it doesn't?
We have to approve their budget.
Yes, it's in the budget.
By approving the budget, we approve.
We
Right.
approve the-
Right.
Councilor Schultz, other questions?
Really quick question. So I noticed that the insurance is anticipated to drop. Actually, I guess it's to increase a little bit, but downtown committee, their insurance had increased a little bit more. Is there any comment on why your insurance is not?
No, they shouldn't. They should pretty much be in line. Our security insurance is going up by about almost 20% compared to what we budgeted last year.
Is that this line here?
That will be, that's our, that's this line. That's the administration side. We have 2 insurance lines.
Okay.
This one pays our general liability insurance on the administration page where it shows $2,500 is the proposed. The insurance line on there pays for general liability and directors and officers liability.
Okay.
On the security page, if you go to that page in the group, you'll see another insurance line. That is the security insurance, and that one's going from $4,400 up to $5,320. So that's the problem with the security insurance, and they're pretty much stuck with one provider who does that, and that's our challenge.
Makes sense. I'm good.
Other questions?
Counselor Hogan had the one comment, but the one context I would add is that we are asking to exceed the tax cap, so this point is kind of moot. But if we weren't to exceed the cap, then this would be an increase we have to take into consideration to set that final levy. So it's not a big deal as long as we're exceeding the cap, but I just mentioned that would be part of the math of like how much.
The only reason I ask is I can't remember the last time it went up.
We never have.
No, we went up.
One time with the marshal.
Yeah, when the Marshall was built, we came in, that was what, 3 or 4 years ago? We got an increase. That was the only increase we've had in 20 years.
But back in the infancy of this, I think we were both present. It seems to be. I just don't remember, it always procedurally been like this, but I was just wondering if there's anything we should.
Yeah, we lived on a $75,000 assessment for a long, long time.
But everything was new,
Yes.
right? So it's all run its useful life of 20 years, so we're
mean,
getting concerned.
There's no doubt, I mean, your association and under Dave's leadership and sitting as vice president has done a magnificent job over the years with this area. You know, I remember years ago, but it was before you put some structural heft into it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of investment going on around us, you know, with the Marshall, the NVRC. Now you see upstate and Crouse, so that's going to be interesting. But there's, the area is getting, everything around us is getting nicer, basically.
Right.
So we're just trying to keep pace, make sure that we don't become the sore thumb in the appearance up there. So that's the job of the district.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll close the hearing. Thanks,
All
Dave.
right. Thank you.
Thanks.